All right, we are live. We are live. It is up and running. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning. Hola.
All right, so today we are talking about work. How work relates to your legacy.
Work, 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 work.
True. That was a good song too.
It was.
Good song too. So really, when we talk about work, because a lot of times, really, if you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't work, you don't get paid. If you don't get paid, you don't eat. So, it's really thinking about the views of work. Do you like what you do for work?
Hmm.
Do you want to do something else? How are your views on work? What did you remember growing up seeing your parents work? If you got kids, how do you think your work affects the lives of your children, the
Mhm.
lives of the people around you? So for example, I'll start this off. My brother, he recently became a truck driver.
Mhm.
He is all over the roads day and night. You call him, he's in a different state, new location every time. And um just asking him like what his thoughts are, he's just like, man, it just feels like a grind and dealing with the road rage and people who can't drive and this and that. And
Mhm.
so it's like, is it worth it? Now what everybody does, who can really say, but do you feel like the work you do is leading you to where you want to go? Or like, what purpose is the work serving you? Another example, one of my favorite jobs I ever had was working at movie gallery and other video rental stores. It
Hmm.
was a cool job as a late teens. Yeah, it was my late teens. I got to pretty much, as movies came out, I got to watch them for free. Video games, got to play them for free. I was a movie buff during that time.
Hmm.
Now, would that job, if they were still around, would it be serving my purpose, my legacy, where I want to go today? Probably not.
All right.
But I enjoyed it. Was it gonna be able to support my lifestyle today?
Hmm.
Probably not.
Right.
So, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it was all worth it for me at that time, especially being a teenager. I mean, everybody coming to you, hey, let me get the hookup on the movies. And
Right. And you got first dibs on everything. But, when I think about work now as an adult, I think all too many times that we have to set aside whether it's meaningful, whether we enjoy it, right? Like your brother was talking about that daily grind. And that's okay when you have to take care of responsibilities, and that's a part of adulting. But with that being said, I like the awakening that's happening where people are actively searching, seeking, and creating exit strategies, right?
mhm,
Like this, it doesn't have to be your end game. So as opposed, like I always say, as opposed to you working for the money, you put the money in a position where it can work for you, right? And now you don't have to have that grind. You can have passive income. You
yeah,
can have residual income, right?
yeah,
That's the financial literacy part that helps to aid in that exit strategy as opposed to waiting to retirement and then enjoying the last 10, 15 years of your life.
yeah. Oh man, since you said that, here's something that I've been working on, and I'll show it to you. So I bought one of these things. Oh man, you remember these little rulers
I
that
did not.
you don't remember? You didn't have this in school?
I did not.
Oh my
Shout out to
goodness.
BPS.
Oh,
No.
oh
What's
man.
the benefit? What does it do?
Yeah, so it's one of these rulers that pretty much extend, it
Captain
extends.
Obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
And so let's just say it goes from 1 to 100. And really, I'm using this as a demonstration to show people, okay, let's just say your first 20 years of life, you're not really accumulating cash or anything. You're just living.
Hmm.
It's a good time. Good time. No
Right.
bills are in your name. Well, depends on who we talking to, but
Right.
bills aren't usually in your name,
Right.
and you're just living life. Everything's great. Then let's just say from 20 to 30, that's usually your working years. If you're in college, you know, you may have a part-time job or something like that. You may even have a full-time job. So you're making money, but most people during that time aren't putting away cash for their future. Mm-hmm. And then let's just say in your late 20s to 40s, this is usually the time where people are getting married, having kids, buying a home, things like that. So, you know, you're still working. You may start putting a little bit away for retirement, but still not too much. But usually around age 50 is when people start thinking about retirement. And so now it's like, okay, well, I got the next 10, 15 years to save as much money as I can for the next, what are people living to now? Like 80, 90, 100?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're retiring at 65, 70, you got to think, did I put away enough money in the past 15 years for the next 20, 30 years of my life?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And one thing that cannot be remiss is the cost of living and inflation.
Yeah.
It ain't going down. It's only going up.
It's only going up. So, you know, just thinking about that is you got to be really selective about the work that you're doing. You know, is it going? I know, look, you're working a job, you are serving that job, but is that job serving you?
I don't think so. I don't agree. I don't think the work that you're doing is important. I don't think work is important. I think income is important. Okay. However you can get to a check, bust a check, run up a check, or get a bag is important. The next step in that is what you do with it, right?
So why before you move forward, why do you feel that way? Is there something like you've seen or experienced growing up? Because I know a lot of when I talk to a lot of older men, they have almost that same sentiment where it's just like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm just gonna go grind, do this thing, even though I hate it, it provides.
Right. Well, when you say work, and I guess we could be saying the same thing, but ultimately times things get compartmentalized. So right now there's people who have an income and they call it gig jobs, right? Mm-hmm. Because, you know, but traditionally when we say work, we think about punching in and out. We think about benefits. We think about a pension. We think about, you know what I mean? And these are all things that are slowly but surely being stripped away when we look at work, right? So there used to be a lot of benefits that came with a traditional work. Nowadays, the main thing, because we can outsource for so many things, whether it's your dental, a private pension, right? You don't have to have no 401k. You can have an IRA. You can have your own private pension. So that's why my ideology is not the traditional meaning of work. Just get to a check, get a bag. You know what I'm saying? You could be in your kitchen. You could be painting nails, you know, whatever the case may be, but the outcome has to be income.
Wow. I like you just flipped that. Oh,
that's
man.
It. The outcome has to be
income.
That's it.
Man, okay. Yeah. So I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, not thinking about work in the traditional way of punching the clock, but just anything that you do to make income. Yeah. So again, it's what are you doing? So let me ask you this, Fancy. When it comes to, because you're talking about not the traditional sense, because you say you could be in your kitchen baking pies and selling those pies. That could be your work, your business, your side gig, your side hustle, whatever it is. Does it come down to having a passion for it, or
no,
just doing something that's going to
I say no.
make the money?
I say because making money is not the goal. The goal is to, once you make the money work for you. Working for money is never going to provide. I can't say what other people want, but I can speak. You know, when we live in this type time, like you don't have mega stars and moguls like it used to be. There was some mysteriousness there. There was, you know what I mean? Like you just didn't have access. Now you have access to everything. And with that being said, I think it's creating a consciousness within people to see that they don't have to wait for their pie in the sky. You can have paradise on earth right now. Are you going to get there by working for money? Like I said, once again, it looks like how you work for money. Like you don't always have to work from the neck down. You can work up from the neck up, right? With a concept, an ideology, whatever the case may be. However you get it, once you get it, what are you doing to grow it? What are you doing to sustain it? What are you doing to create a financial ecosystem where it continues to grow and magnify and come back tenfold? That's the important part.
Yeah. So, you can't take human nature out of the equation for that. So if you really are doing a job that you do not like or enjoy, a lot of times what happens is that people will then spend their money, call it self-care, call it whatever, just to kind of get that mental stress off of them.
Absolutely.
So then it's like you're not really how much do you have left to save after that? Because what I'm starting to think about, we were talking about paying yourself first, and what I'm starting to see is that we got to really define what that means, because when it comes to pay yourself first, people think, oh, the spa day is me paying myself first.
Right.
So how's that going to help them in the future? Hopefully they still looking good and glowing in the future, but.
Right. I do believe in investing in yourself. I believe and people have different relationships with money. They have a different relationship with the concept of work. We just need to be sure that whatever that mentality is, it's evolving, because anything not growing is dying, right? So if you were, what was that?
Said true.
Yeah. And I just think that people who are holding on to old concepts, with the world constantly changing and evolving, it's just going to be a thing of the past. It's going to fall away. So that would be my thing. Whatever your put yourself is first, right? You got to look at, are you planning for the short term or long term? The time going to come.
Yeah, time's going to pass either way.
Either way.
So you were saying that it really doesn't matter what you do. Again, as long as the outcome is income.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
And it doesn't matter if you have a passion for it initially, that's kind of irrelevant to you.
No, it's not irrelevant, but I think that depending on what generation you are, what age group, and what your responsibilities are, your passion for how you get to a bag can't be at the forefront, right? So you can utilize that to have an exit strategy. If you place your money in the proper place and you do what you need to do for 10 years, that puts you in a position where you can do what you want to do for the remaining years. It's a discipline, I think, that goes into it, and just kind of having a plan of action.
Okay. Yeah. So what I've been finding out just in my own life and my own personal journey, it comes down to consistency, and really how much of yourself are you putting into the work that you do? Because again, in financial services, the things that we do, it's not like any of us, if you was to ask 6-year-old Fancy, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't think being in financial services and talking about wealth building products and insurance and employee benefits was a thing,
Right.
Most people would have been like, I want to be an astronaut, a firefighter, a police officer,
right,
president of the United States. So again, like nobody thought about being this as a kid, and a lot of people just kind of fall into it. But over time, you do develop a passion for this. Like, think about it. We come on here every week talking about this stuff. I'm pretty sure, like most people, if they talk to us throughout the day or who know us really well, they're just like, oh, they're gonna start talking about like finances and legacy and building wealth and whatnot. So
I definitely hop on my soapbox about it because I think it's imperative. There's a vast array of things that I am good at. It could be fashion, it could be a lot of things. I could be in the booth, But I think to myself at the end of the day, in the beginning of the next one, how does that serve my community? Beautification is important, right? Arts are important, right? Whether it's poetry, spoken word, rap, and whatever the case may be. But for me, it speaks to my soul and it gives a fulfillment to be able to educate people in something that is so imperative and it has caused such a gap amongst generations, races, cultures, right? And so my passion is to expose to the have-nots that they can indeed have, right? We have the same opportunities, we have access to the same things. And even if we didn't start at that place, we can utilize what we have to get there, exceed and supersede what we didn't start with.
So really, what you're saying for you, it comes back to having an end goal in mind. You know, a lot of times in our industry and meetings and stuff, you have you got to know your why. You got to know your why. I'm even thinking back to that episode of The Simpsons where Homer covered up his wall and he put like his family in front of his face so that he's like, okay, I know I don't like this job. This is the reason. This is my why I'm doing it.
Right.
So, you know, it keeps you going, you know.
Yeah.
It keeps you going, especially, you know, in our business, we got ups and downs, we got those hard days, we got those hard weeks sometimes. So, but you know, again, we have our why, we have our reason for doing it, we have the things that keep us going, and I think the passion develops from there. Again, you know, it's not like, again, what you said, you didn't think about that at maybe 6 or 8 years old, where it's like, I'm going to make this major impact and build wealth for the community and all of that. But here you are now.
I feel like, I could sell hair, nails, fashion, cars, furniture, apparel. But the reward that I get from empowering somebody with financial literacy, putting them in a product that's going to affect generations, right? That's way more immense than something as intangible as an outfit that somebody might outgrow or, you know what I mean, not launder properly, and nothing comes of it. So that is my why in terms of why I stick to the peaks and the valleys and the hard parts and the, you know, when people kind of shun me, they don't want to talk about things that are inevitable, right? We have insurance on everything, be it our vehicle, because the government tells us to, be it our phone, because we love it and we paid so much to it and it keeps us close to our loved ones, right? Be it our home, because it was an investment, be it our pet, because we love it. All the more so, we should insure our income. Insuring our income is insuring ourselves. We should insure ourselves because it ensures that we're going to propel our loved ones further than we were ever able to go. That's my why. Wow. That's what does it for me.
Man, I feel that. I feel that.
All that other stuff is, you know, and it is what it is. And not to, you know, everything ain't for everybody and everything has a purpose and a place. But for me, like I said, it's a duality. It's such a fulfilling and rewarding thing. I like to empower people. And instill upon them things that they may be depleted or void of. So,
okay. People may or may not know this, but April is Financial Literacy Month. You got a gem that you want to drop? A great financial tip, you know?
No.
No?
I got nothing. Come holler at me. Hit the link. Hit my link tree. Do it. Hit my calendar, and we can have a one-on-one. Because, as with most things in life, it's not one size fits all, right? So when I'm helping people, I like to understand them, what their needs are, so I can expose and kind of customize a plan that's going to be beneficial for what they want. So, you know, I'm never the person that says, buy term and hope for the best or whatever they say. I'm never going to say an IUL is the only thing you should have. I'm never going to say you should only have whole life. I'm never going to say you should only have a dividend paying policy or anything like that. It's, as with most things, it's customizable. And so I like to speak to the specific need of the person that I'm serving. And another thing, When I'm helping clients, I've found that I feel like people are irritated because I don't just. It's like when you go to the doctor. I can't walk into the doctor and tell him what to prescribe me, right? He's going to ask me questions. He's going to assess the situation, and then he's going to write a prescription. And so a lot of times, because of maybe gurus or people have a notion of what they want, but it may not always be what they need, or they don't fully understand it. So I am the person, before I prescribe, write, or provide anything for you, I'm going to educate you on it. So that's my disclaimer. So that's why I never just have one thing across the board to provide for everybody.
That's absolutely true, because I know people come to me and be like, "Hey, I want this thing," and the first thing I ask them is why. Why do you want it? What is it that you want this thing to do? It's like, oh, and I'm learning that a lot of people have not thought about that. It's like, oh, I saw this thing and I just want it. Okay, but how is this going to work for you?
Yeah. We often get things because everybody else has it, and we don't know all the features, the bells and the whistles. Be it a vehicle, be it your phone, right? There's always these hidden features. But with something as instrumental as this, you need to know all the features. You need to understand how it works. You need to recognize that this just doesn't come into play once you're gone. These are things that you can utilize right now. So I say all that to say that's why I just don't have one gem or nugget to provide anybody. It's more customized.
So the gem is really to give you a call, get it worked out, get it planned out, get it customized, get it tailor fit.
It's like a double entendre. That's the gem because I am the gem. Like that. So yeah, absolutely.
Some things aren't taught, some things are caught.
That's it.
It's like, I hope whoever's watching this, whether live, whether on the replay, y'all catch that and give Fancy a call.
Get on your tippy toes. Don't let it go over your head. That's what I say about that. But yeah, absolutely. But we'll have more information and just little things that people can derive, as it is Financial Literacy Month, as you so eloquently stated. So everybody should definitely stay tuned for further notice.
Yeah. So going back to the phrase of knowledge is power, but even though we know it's not, it's got to be applied knowledge that you take action on. It's called Financial Literacy Month, but I like to think of it as Financial Empowerment Month. And in order to be empowered, you actually have to do something with that knowledge. Being literate, okay, you know how to read financial statements. You know how this thing leads to this thing, how X leads to Y. But if you don't do anything,
nothing gets done.
Exactly.
That part.
Exactly. If there's no input, there's no output. And if the outcome is income,
then we own something. But otherwise, nah.
Yeah. So what I would challenge people today is really look at your relationship with the work that you do. Look at your relationship with your finances. Look at your relationship with your legacy and the impact that you're making, because it's all connected. Even if you have a job that's really stressful and that you do not like, maybe have a side gig or side hustle to create income. And it's also something that you enjoy, so you're not just working yourself to death.
Yeah. Literally.
Yep. Because that also has an impact on your family, your children. Like, you don't want to be that person who's like, oh, I worked X amount of hours at a stressful job. I'm coming home, my kids are acting up. I'm already stressed out, so now I'm just swinging on everybody. And now the kids grow up just like, they're not understanding that you were stressed. They just understand
that on the kids. Please. But that's what happened. As you spoke to human nature, right? Everything is connected, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, right? Everything is connected. So it's imperative. So I just believe in an exit strategy, ensuring that you don't just work for money, but you put your money to work for you. Money does grow. It's just about where you position it.
That's the gem right there. Don't just work for money. Let your money work for you. And how you do that is you call Fancy, or you can call me. You know,
Call
depends.
us. Listen,
Call both of us. We'll hop on the Zoom.
and I'll tell anybody. Just like certain people tell parishioners, go get in somebody church. Utilize me for a second opinion. Utilize me for a second set of eyes. You can even utilize me to review what you already have in place, right? Because my whole goal is the empowerment part. It's the financial literacy. What you do with it after that is on you, right? But I feel fulfilled making sure that you're aware. I can't make people do anything. I can incite them and educate them to proceed forward. But after that, you know what I mean? Everybody is smart enough to make the best decisions for themselves once they're aware of all of their options. So I'm here as a foster and facilitator to make you aware of what your options are, lay it on the table in accordance with what you said you want to happen, what you want to see. And then after that, the ball is back in your court. It's up to you to lay it up. Shoot the three, do whatever you want to do with it.
Hey, as long as you score, right?
Score.
Yeah. You got to win the game. And again, this conversation is just to help you win the game, because when it comes down to a legacy, if you talk to me, there's 3 parts to a legacy. There's your foundation, your finances, and your future. Your foundation's already been set. Those seeds have already been planted. They're already rooted. Now it's up to you to figure out how tall you want your money tree to grow, and then the future, who you want to branch out, who you want to reach out, connect to, and what fruit will you bear.
That's mega. That's really good.
Yeah. You want to know another fun fact about trees?
Indeed, I do.
Okay, they grow both ways, up and down.
Yeah.
Yep. What you see up top a lot of times reflects what's happening below with the root system.
It's so above, it's so below. Is that how it goes?
Oh yeah, because sometimes you are not buried, you are just planted.
And so if you're just planted, does that mean that it's easy to uproot? What does that speak to?
No, so that means sometimes you are planted, which means you gotta even dig further down, deeper, to really be rooted, and then you will grow upward.
That's right. Because if not, otherwise it works in reverse and you'll be easily uprooted, right? If you are not.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You got a big, you all big up top and you got no roots, that wind come, boom.
That reminds me, I got leg day tomorrow.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't skip leg day. Don't skip leg day.
You see that at the gym all the time, just swole at the top, right?
Yeah. Looking like an upside down triangle.
That's so true.
Man, oh man. Yeah. So about another little fun fact about that, they were saying that some studies were showing that the stronger your legs are, the longer you live, the more healthier you can be, since that's the biggest muscle region.
It is indeed.
Yep. And when you see people get sick, and especially if they have a terminal illness, the muscle's usually the last thing to go. So the more muscle you have, the more your chance of survival. Hey, is it survival of the fittest? The strong survive?
It is, all of that. It all ties in. It's so funny because now, ironically enough, me working out at this age is not just about vanity, right? It has a lot to do with my health. I recognize it for something different, and that definitely aids and abates in me continuing to strive to work out, having core strength, having leg strength. I know leg day is brutal. Leg day is so brutal.
It's fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun. That's it. It's fun.
Yeah, because you get to feel the results days later.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's like, I went in and did some work.
Why does it take you to feel it days later? I wake up and I have to strategically relieve myself so I don't make a mess, because just the squatting is excruciating.
Hey.
You feel yours days later?
It's usually it's with legs. Sometimes it's not the next day, but the day after that.
No, mine is immediate. Mine is definitely always the next day, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
I'll be like you when I grow up. I had a delayed effect, you know what I mean? Because I had a strength. But as of now,
hey, just keep putting in the work. Keep putting in the work.
I'm
So
trying.
then our topic for today is work, and all work works. It'll either work on you, it'll either work in you, or it'll work somewhere in your life, or it'll work on somebody else.
Work it out of you. Work it out.
Yeah, go work it out. Work it out physically, work it out spiritually, work it out emotionally, work it out financially.
I like it.
And so that's all we got today.
That's it.
Y'all have a great day.